Good afternoon. I'm Rick Gentry, the President and CEO of the San Diego Housing Commission, and welcome. I'm pleased to be joined here today with Councilmember Scott Sherman and David Alvarez as we announce some exciting new steps in a process started some 2 years ago to improve the delivery of additional housing at all income levels to San Diegans. In November of 2015, the San Diego Housing Commission published the report entitled Addressing the Housing Affordability Crisis, an Action Plan for San Diego. This housing affordability report included 11 recommended actions to be taken at the local, state, and federal levels to reduce cost and increase production of housing for the city of San Diego. Since then, we've made great progress on 9 of these 11 items, including streamlining the process of certain permits in the Development Services Department, as well as simplification of fee services, improved customer service training, and implementation of new techniques related to IT and data processing. We've also been, the city has been active in increasing the number of community plan updates that have been done by the city over the past couple of years. The one thing that we have not done, though, up to this point is to address the first of those 11 items, and that is the setting of goals going forward on what our housing production should be, goals that we can measure ourselves by as we go forward. This report, which is posted on the Housing Commission's website today and will be the subject of the Smart Growth Committee this afternoon, determines that the city of San Diego will need between now and 2028 between 150,000 and 220,000 new housing units for San Diegans at all income levels. To give you an idea of the scope of that number is that over the last 10 years, the most that the city has been able to encourage production of in any one year has been about 6,400 units. Now you all can do the math. What that means is that to meet the projected needs of the city for the next 10 years, from 2018 to 2028, we will need to produce between 17,000 and 24,000 housing units per year. A daunting task, but a goal worthy of being set. The first thing you do when you set a goal is to develop information on what the goal should be and to give it a realistic basis. In this report the Housing Commission produced, we identify available land in the city where it's possible to build housing now, allowable land uses that can create options for the development of additional housing now, opportunities to improve the development process additionally to make it easier for developers to find the resources they need to create the housing, and this is a $10 word, but take it for what it's worth, a geospatial analysis of the opportunities. What that means is when and where the opportunities exist that can be used to develop housing now. And we've developed also 5 main sources of these potential housing units, which are displayed on one of these boards up here with us today. This is an exciting new step. It gives the city goals for the future, and also gives the city goals to be measured by.
You know, here at the city, we have a lot of different goals. We have climate action goals, we have transportation goals, we have zero waste goals. The one thing we haven't had is goals when it comes to meeting housing needs for San Diegans. The city is going to grow, whether it's people coming here or people who live here having children and growing up here. We're going to get growth no matter what we do. It's how we get that growth and where it comes from. We have stifled growth so much with government regulation and red tape over the years that we're at a point now that 47% of the cost of building housing in the city of San Diego is government regulation and red tape. But thanks to the good work that Mr. Gentry does at the Housing Commission, we have opportunities for people in the subsidized world who need a little bit of assistance getting housing. We have plenty of opportunity in the luxury level where people who have the means can afford that type of housing. What we don't have is that missing middle, that housing that is actually affordable to people who are moving their way up the ladder. When the median price of a house in San Diego is over $500,000, when the least expensive single-family home produced in the city of San Diego last year sold for $750,000. That is way out of reach of a lot of people. You know, when I was a kid, affordable housing was called an apartment. The average rent now of an apartment is just under $2,000 a month. How can you be in subsidized housing and want to get your way out of subsidized housing into that next level if it doesn't exist? That's the problem we're having in San Diego, and what we're doing is we're driving our kids and our grandkids right out of town. So Councilmember Alvarez and I got together when I became chairman of Smart Growth and Land Use, and we decided to tackle this issue. It has a lot of moving parts, it has a lot of facets to it, but together I think we're going to be able to achieve some good goals and actually make it to where people can afford to live here in San Diego.
I think often people believe that government is working and sets goals and claims to want to accomplish certain things, and people feel like not a lot is getting accomplished. And I think there's a lot of validity to when people feel that way. What this report does is it pinpoints exactly what the needs are for San Diego to remain competitive, to be able to keep our talent here. We are losing young, talented individuals to other places because they can no longer afford to live here. As Councilmember Sherman said, we in San Diego have housing for people who are well off, who are doing quite well. We have a little bit of housing for people who are not doing so well and who maybe are working minimum wage jobs. But whether you're working a minimum wage job or have a college degree and are working a full-time job making a decent amount of money, you still can't afford to rent or to buy in San Diego. That's what this report points out. That is alarming, and we need to be acting with a lot of swift and thoughtfully to make decisions that allow for the increased housing to occur. So the 5 strategies or points that are here behind us indicate how we can reach those goals that are now going to be measured upon. You all can hold us accountable, can hold the city accountable as to whether or not we're doing enough to produce units for the people that live here. This information gives the public that opportunity. People believe, I think rightfully so, that we're not doing enough. These are the hard facts and numbers. We have data now that proves that, in fact, we need to do more. And we have data now on how to get to resolving the problem, which is what we did not have before. So, again, when 50% of residents in San Diego can't afford a place to rent or a place to buy, something's going really wrong and we need to take serious action. We've started to. This report identifies some of the things we've actually been able to do, some of the things we are currently working on, and some of the difficult things that we need to do going forward in order to make sure that we're successful.